Hello there, Runniers. It's Manny again, and I wanted to make this video closer to the weekend because it's my usual, the last of the season, tips and tricks for registration. And it's going to be the last registration of the season, and it's going to be for Springtime Surprise. It's coming this Tuesday, July 29th. And so we're going to go over everything. Remember, I have had 18 years of experiences of things changing here and there. So we're going to go over that. But before we do, guys, as usual, we have not subscribed to the channel. Please do. It helps the channel a lot. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. Please comment down below. I love interacting with you guys. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, please comment down below. I love the interacting with you guys. And lastly, share this information. This is going to be the last registration. I have some thoughts at the very end of what's going to go on. And I have an update on one of my goals that's going on for my Run Disney season. And let's get to it. Before we start, there is a bit of news coming from Disney that can affect the Run Disney events. And I'm going to say it's not only can, it's going to affect the Run Disney events, whether it be just visually or the course modification. So first off, they are going to build an animation courtyard in Hollywood Studios. So Animation Courtyard is going to be awesome because you're going to be able to draw there. I love that at Disneyland. I think it's awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. So now something's going to be coming down that we got used to running through, and it's going to affect Wine and Dine and Springtime Surprise. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think that it might be a minor one if they change the course. I do think they might leave it up, but it is going to be the archway, the Disney Hollywood Studios archway that has been there since forever, and so it's going to lead to Launch Bay. So if you notice, this is going to be going down, and so it might affect the course. I don't think it's going to be a big deal though. So now let's get over to the registration tips and tricks. So we always break it down into what you can start doing now. We can break it down into what you're going to do the morning of, and then during registration, and then there's stuff that you got to look through all the way through to make sure that you're registered. So let's start at stuff you can start doing now. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have your Run Disney account active and up to date. So let's take a look at how we can do that. On the Run Disney page, click on the top right hand corner, Manage Account. It's going to give you this page. You're going to log in to your information, but you're going to notice create an account. If you do not have an account, this is where you're going to do it. You're going to be able to see all the information. All this information is already going to be saved. So the morning of, when you log into your account, this is all going to be preset. So it's going to have your stuff like basic, your name, your email address, your date of birth, your home address. Make sure that you use the same password that you do for all your other Disney login accounts. So now we got that up to date, and it's going to give us also an insight on information that we're going to need if we're registering multiple runners, and I'll get to that in a minute. So the next thing we got to remember is the date, the time, and make sure that you adjust in case you're not in that time zone. For example, it is going to be July 29th, that's next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I'm Central, so that'll be 9 a.m. If you're Pacific, it's going to be 7 a.m. If you're an international runner, make sure that you understand what time zone it's going to be in, so that way you can adjust accordingly, and then you can follow the tips and tricks that we're going to show you. The other thing you can start doing right now is checking your Wi-Fi and your data, where you have the strongest signal in your house, in your apartment, in your office building, wherever you're going to be registering from. You got to make sure that you get the strongest signal. I would check it throughout the day. I would check it, at about the same time that you're going to be registering, just to make sure that you are set. This is something that you could start doing now. Now, you're going to have to get all the information that you're going to need, and we're going to go over that in a minute because I was able to register already. So we're going to go over that, but you also got a preview. If you're registering anybody else, you got the preview because you got to see what it takes to create the account. Once you log into the account, that's going to be, it's already going to be predisposed, so you're going to be able to you're not going to fill that out because it's all going to be filled out. There's going to be one exception. We'll get to that later. But if you're registering multiple people, so you got more than one person, you're going to be registering your family, your friends, your coworkers, whatever it is. So now you know what information that you're going to get, and that goes back to what we just saw earlier. So make sure you get your, the name, addresses, email addresses, phone number, date of birth, and the one, and I'm going to repeat this a couple of times, the one that's not on there, and I'm not going to record it because it actually gives away my information, is shirt size. Make sure that you understand what shirt size you're going to get. So, and it's going to be broken down into ladies and men's. I think men's is just unisex. So, but it's going to give you that option. So make sure that you get that. Now, the next thing I suggest that you can start doing right now is prioritizing runs for yourself. So an individual. So for example, if you want to do the 5K and the 5K sells out very quickly, do you want to pivot to the 10K? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to, let's say you sign up for, or you want to sign up for the challenge and it sells out pretty quickly. Are you willing to pivot over to sign up for the 10 miler? So this is where you can prioritize saying, and I would pick a couple of them. So that way, if you don't get your first choice, you can go to your second choice, maybe even your third choice. People will ask if they open up later, can I switch? Yes, they're going to give you an option to switch, and it's going to be a small fee plus whatever the upgrade is. So let's say, for example, you sign up for the 10 miler, and the challenge opens up again. You can actually go in there, and there's going to give you an option to do so. It's going to give you the price difference, and again, it's going to be the price difference of the runs and then a small fee, but you can do that. So right now, the goal is to get in on that day, which is July 29th. So the next thing you're going to prioritize is if you're going to be running with multiple people. That is, if you're going to be running with family members, friends, coworkers, so forth and so on. You're registering somebody else. You need to really prioritize if they are must runs with. So for example, if you're going to be running with your child, I would consider that a must. So I would register you guys together. And then the other one is, it would be nice to have. So you can register yourself first, go back in, and then register your friend, your coworker, whatever it is. So what happens is when you register your family, yourself, you got to register yourself first. There is going to be a button, which we're not going to see because I am only registering myself, but it's going to say add another runner. You can add another runner. You can go back in. You're going to have to fill out the information, which we've already gone over. And then you're going to be able to register your child. If you decide that would be good to have, you're going to register yourself. You're going to go through the process, which we'll see in a little bit. And then once you finish with that process, you're just going to go right back in, and they're going to allow you to go back in. Then you're going to register the next person, and you're going to have a separate payment. Which brings me to my last thing that you could start doing right now, and that is make sure that you have payment, and I always say have a backup payment just in case. This is the story that I share. I remember a long time ago, it's been a while, but somebody had actually put on their debit card, they had saved up and they had put on their debit card what they wanted to sign up for. Well, they didn't get it, but it puts a hold on that debit card. And let's say, for example, it would have been a challenge and it was $500. They went to their secondary race. So let's say they had a $500 credit on there. There was a $500 hold. When they get to the secondary race, they could not register because it had a hold on that $500. It broke my heart to hear this story because I really, and I hope to God, if you're out there and you're watching this video, you've gone in and you've been able to run Disney, because that story really affected me. And this is when I started telling people, I said, have a backup plan just in case, so that in case you have a debit card, maybe have a credit card ready, something that you can pay over time. We're going to see over the ways that you can pay, including gift card and redemption card. So now we're going to go to the morning of, which is going to be July 29th. And so you're going to log in early. I always recommend 15 minutes early. For most races, I am now starting to say get there at least 30 minutes early, but 15 to 30 minutes early should be enough, especially for Springtime Surprise. Now, people will talk about multiple devices, and that's fine. I always say if you get one on data, get one on Wi-Fi, so that way in case Wi-Fi drops, you still have data. In case data drops, you still have Wi-Fi. But this is where it's going to help a little bit more. If you have multiple people signing up, see if you can get them to get on each device. So if there's 3 people and they have 3 devices, that's going to be an easier way to get everybody in. So once the first person gets in, then you can register all 3 people. If one goes in, the other one's about to get in. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can go, and you can basically make sure that you guys get in. But multiple devices, if there is multiple people, then each one gets on a device, so that's going to take care of the multiple devices. So now this is going to be really, really important, because the morning of, it's going to show you a screen and it's going to say registration starting soon, or registration open soon, something like that. All right, those buttons are going to be there. You're going to start refreshing. I always say if you log in 30 minutes before, refresh, kind of take your time, refresh. Once you get into the 15-minute mark or less, so you're 15 minutes before 10 a.m. Eastern time, you start refreshing a little bit faster. Once any button opens up, it doesn't matter which one it is. You're ready to sign up for the challenge, but the 5K opens up. Press it, okay? You are going to be put into a queue. It's going to be in a waiting room, basically. So that's going to be the first thing you're going to go into. You will no longer refresh. Do not refresh anymore, because you may lose your place in line. Once you get into the waiting room, it's going to refresh on its own, and it'll have update times at the bottom. One of these times it's going to update, and it's going to have something on the bottom. It's going to say like over an hour. That is normal. That's going to be normal to start off with. And then it refreshes a couple more times, and it could drop pretty quickly. For example, you can have one that says over an hour, and it refreshes, and the next one it'll say 30 minutes, it'll say 20 minutes, it'll say 5 minutes. So you just never know. It refreshes every once in a while, and if you have multiple devices, they're all going to be refreshing. So one might say something, another one might say something else, and so you get an idea of which one is going to be the quickest way to register. Now again, once you're here, please do not refresh. You do not refresh. Let it go all the way through. You're going to hear a ding, ding, ding. That means it's your time to register. All right, so when it's your time to register, you're going to be able to see what I saw. And here we go. So here we go with registration for Springtime Surprise 2026. At the top, you can see the 4 different categories of the races. The only thing that's missing is yoga, because I don't get that pre-register. But you can see the prices. The prices are not total prices. Once we click on this, we're going to be able to start registering. Now, I am going to click over my information, but you do need to get your shirt size. But we're going to go straight to the emergency contact, their phone number, and their information. There's going to be an acknowledgement on the very top, so make sure that you click on that. And now we're going to go over to the categories. So are you a military? And I'm going to start clicking on the different ones. So I'm going to put yes, so you guys can see, you know, what the drop down bars are going to have. So it's going to have the categories right here. So I am not, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to click no. Are you registering with a disability, a runner with a disability? So again, I'm going to click on this so you guys can actually see if you're a runner with a disability or are looking at becoming a runner with a disability because for whatever reason. Click on yes, and here we go. We're coming up on this shortly. You're going to be able to read, and I would suggest that here it is. You're going to be able to pause this and look at the categories. Very summarizing. You're going to be able to pick if you're going to be able to do it on your own. Are you going to provide your own guide? Do you need a guide? And I believe runDisney just helps you get a guide. It's not them. I think there's companies or people who do that. So we're obviously going to click on no. We're going to go to anticipated time. If you're going to click under an hour and 55 minutes for the half marathon, you're going to need proof of time. So I'm clicking no. Then you're going to get the pace right here for the 10K roughly. And then again, just pace is right here, so you're going to be able to put what you think your pace is going to be. Are you a cast member? Are you a vacation club member? Yes. No, I mean, I'm not. So just right here, there's a bunch of different categories that you're going to be able to click on this and stuff. Are you, a pass holder or your magic key holder? Here goes the one, pre-sale commemorative items. So I'm gonna look at this very, very slowly so you guys can look at them. There's gonna be like the men's jacket, the women's jacket. Again, there's gonna be, these are not accurate pictures, but you get to see the sizes. So you're gonna be able to see the sizes, but these are not actual pictures of the jackets, of the Spirit jerseys. Again, you get to see the sizes here. The weekend event pin bundle. So this is going to be interesting because it has all 12 of them. I believe there's 12 of them. So they're different ones. The I Did It, the weekend bundles, the metal replicas. So they're pretty cool. Again, I'm kind of stopping so you get an idea. They get the challenge runner pin bundle. Each one of the races is going to have their own also. So we're going to scroll down to the 10 miler, the 10K. So here's a quick look at these and letting you guys take a look at them. The 5K here. If you want to take a snapshot of this or a picture of this so you guys can think if you're ready. So if not, I'm ready to pay. So once I'm ready to pay, I'm going to go straight to the payment right here. So you're going to be able to donate, or there's a promo code. I've never actually heard of anybody using a promo code. Somewhere down the line somebody might. But you're going to be able to pay. We're going to be able to look at how you can pay. So obviously credit and debit. Okay, so it's going to give you the total right here. So you're going to see the total right there. But as we scroll down, it's going to be credit or debit card, Disney gift card, and Disney redemption card. So if you have a Disney Visa, you're going to have some redemption points that you can use, and you're going to have to agree to the terms. And presto, we thank you for registration. So make sure that you get to this screen and make sure that you see this screen. If you're registering, make sure you take a screenshot of this screen, a picture, something for your records. So a couple of things that I want to stress. There's things that you can skip. For example, proof of time. You can go back in. You already know how to sign into your account. You're going to log into your account, the manage account. You're going to go back in. You can actually edit that. You're going to have a time period to put in your proof of time, because remember, it has to be a certified course. Certified course is up to Disney, up to the RCA, the American Running Association, whatever it is. They're going to be the ones who are going to basically say this is a certified course or not. And make sure that you have the distances right. So for example, you can do a half marathon for a full marathon, but you can't do a 5K for a half marathon. So again, make sure that you got a certified course. You're going to be able to copy and paste and put that in. But when you're registering, not important to do it right away. It's going to take a valuable seconds, or possibly can take a valuable seconds, unless you're proficient in copying and pasting, putting everything pretty quickly, then that's okay. The other thing that I suggest that you skip initially is going to be pre-purchase any merchandise. Now there's a couple of reasons why I say this. The first one is going to be because if you're sitting there looking at the merchandise, now granted you guys have a sneak preview, so you'll be able to see a little bit of what is going to be offered there, and you can order it if you want to. But if you're going to be just stopping there and looking and reading and everything, that's going to cost you valuable seconds, maybe even minutes. That is going to slow down your registration and can cost you a slot. The second reason I say make sure that you skip, or you should skip pre-purchasing stuff unless you really, really want it, is because you don't know, especially something that you're going to put on a shirt. You don't know what it looks like until you get there. These pictures are kind of rough. So when you get there, a lot of times I've looked at stuff online and I said, I'm not sure how it's going to look. And I get there sometimes and go like, wow, okay, I'm glad I didn't buy that. Now there's other times when I sit there going like, wow, that's a lot better than I thought. But when I see it live, it's a lot different than when I see it online, especially when it's a rough mop up, and then you get to see the fabric, to see how it is, if you can wear it, so forth and so on, then the sizes. Because remember one thing, they no longer allow you to return anything. So if you buy something, you pre-purchase a shirt, and you don't like it, you cannot return it. You do not get the discounts if online if you are an annual pass holder, magic key holder. If you're a DVC holder, you don't get any of those discounts. And again, you won't get any of the discounts. You can't return it. There is a couple of reasons that there's a couple of ways that you can return stuff. Is if it's the wrong size and you can show it. If it is defective, then you can. But it's basically more of an exchange than anything else. So just keep that in mind before you purchase something. And one of the last things I'm going to say is, please do not stop. If you notice, I stopped when I got my thank you for registering. A lot of people, once they get in, they think it's like the hotels or the tickets where you got 15 minutes or something like that to purchase your stuff. No, this is not like that. Time is ticking away, and if you take your time, it's going to be harder to get one of those slots. So make sure that when you finish, you're going to see thank you for registering. Make sure that you take a snapshot or take a photo of it just to make sure for your protection that you have all the information. You should get an email. You should be able to see it in your account afterward. There's a couple reasons why sometimes it doesn't show up. It might just be a hiccup in the system, but it might be that you used a different email address or you have multiple accounts because, and one of the things is when you register, and I said it before and I'll say it again, when you open up your account, make sure that you use the same account information that you do for all your Disney accounts, because if you change it, it might go somewhere else. All you have to do is email them, they'll fix it, but it might be a headache for a little bit. And the last thing I want to reiterate is if you're registering multiple people, remember if they're must-haves, so they're, again, you're going to be running with your child. At the very end, it's going to add another runner. It's going to ask you add another runner. It's going to be a little quick thing that you can click on. Click on that. If it's going to be, nice that they run with me, and you want to make sure that you get yourself in, make sure that you register, get your thank you for registering first, then go back in so that you can register the next person. And it's going to ask you there on the top, it's going to say, is it for yourself? And you're going to say no, family member, friend, whatever it is. And so you're going to go there and you're going to fill out everything. And then remember, if it's a minor, it's going to ask you a couple of different questions, but it should be basically the same registration if it's a minor. So do you have any questions about registration? I know I covered this in detail, and I've covered this in detail many times. I can do it in my sleep. I can do it forward, backwards, and I know it makes sense in my head, but sometimes I think to myself, I hope I'm basically answering as many questions as I can, but I know that you guys have a lot more questions, so please ask them down below. One that I already thought of that you guys are going to ask is, are they going to sell out pretty quickly? The answer is, I can tell you historically, the 5K and the 10Ks do sell out pretty quickly. The challenges, I want to say half but this is a 10 miler. The challenges usually take a little bit longer and have taken till the end of the day, that have taken till the end of the week. And then the 10 miler stays open a little bit longer. And I also think that the reason that happens is because it's the end of the season. People have spent a lot of money over there. They enjoy the 5K because, again, it's not timed. The 10K, the shorter distances. The 10 miler to me is a great run because it's not a complete half marathon, so you can have some fun. It's also at the time when it starts getting a little bit more humid, so you're not out on the course that extra 5K. And so there's a reason why I think it's not as popular, but it still will sell out eventually. But that's the order. I think 5K is going to sell out first, 10K is going to sell out second. They're probably going to both sell out pretty quickly within an hour and a half, maybe two at the longest. I think by later that day or within the next couple of days, the challenge will sell out, and give the 10 miler maybe a week or two, maybe even a little bit longer. It's lasted a little bit longer than that. Yoga's the one who I'm not 100% sure. That one might stay open. And of course, there is no longer any after party. That sucks because I enjoyed it that one year that they had it, but no more after party. So before we leave, I am going to give you an update because I thought this was pretty cool. Because I had talked about goals, and I started watching a lot of these videos about people who have these goals and then they start cheating on them and everything. All right, so I want to show you that I had a goal that once comes September 2nd, was September 2nd, 3rd, 4th, when I'm going to be at Disneyland before the run, and I'm going to be able to make a video before that. I wanted to lose 15 pounds from the start of the 210 that I showed you a few weeks back. And so here is the update. I'm below 200, and I've been doing this as natural as I can. So it's going to be through exercising, and eating better. So I'm cleaned up a lot of my eating. So that's what it is. A lot of people say, wow, that's pretty good. But you got to remember, when you don't eat good food, you get bloated very easy. So the first, few pounds are going to be just, that wasted water that you're just getting through your system. And I always weigh myself first thing in the morning before I do anything. So every single one, if ever you see me post or talk about weight, I post at the very beginning of every morning. As soon as I wake up, go to the restroom, then I weigh myself. And so that stays consistent. You want to stay consistent when you weigh yourself, so that way you know it's accurate. Because if you weigh yourself before a meal and after a meal, that's going to be a little bit different. Before or after exercise, it's going to be a little bit different, and so forth. And I want to stay as genuine to you guys as possible. So thank you for putting up with me. This has been a long video. Thank you very much, guys. Any questions for anything, please comment down below. Registration, goals, tips, anything. But without further ado, create a magical day, create a magical run, and guys, see you sooner than later.